Welcome. Today at Young Climber, we come to you from Domingos Game Reserve. This is a place of beauty, a place of wildlife, and most importantly, a place of relaxation. You get to enjoy this beautiful place with your family, one of 3 lodges that caters to at least 8 people. That is definitely a big number. I think you would want to come here and have the greatest time of your life. It is, of course, based in the Kingdom of Eswatini, near Louvre. So why wouldn't you want to be at this wonderful, amazing establishment? On the show tonight, we are joined by Carolyn Domingos. She joins us to tell us about her life as a model in the Kingdom of Eswatini, transitioning to South Africa and then finally moving to Dubai. She is, of course, Manzini born, and she also went to Stegi Nazarene and, of course, pursued some of her education in the Republic of South Africa. She sits with us to unpack her story. And again, we are back with the young beings doing great things in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Joining us today is, of course, the beautiful and talented model, which is, of course, Carolyn Domingos. She joins us to talk about her modeling journey. Carolyn, welcome to Young Climber.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you are sitting right next to me because, hey, it's been a journey, for you and your life, and we want to find out all about it. Just to start off with, we need to backdate to the young you.
Yeah.
What inspired your modeling career? How did you start off and you imagined yourself at this point?
It's crazy because growing up, I never really ever visioned myself as a teacher, a nurse, or whatnot. I never really saw myself doing anything like that.
Yeah.
But I can say, let me just take my own words back. At some point, I did dream of being a pilot. And then I realized that a girl is really bad at this math thing and whatnot. But yeah, for the most part. And then as I was growing, I was watching, the Tyra Banks and your Naomi's and all of that. I was like, I kind of look like this woman. I want to do what she does.
Yeah.
And then just from there, that's when I developed the love for modeling. And I don't even know how it all came up, but it is basically the Tyra Banks and Naomi's.
And now moving into your education, what influence did it have on you picking this specific career? I know you did mention the maths, but I mean, there's some things that we experience at school that are outside of the curriculum that, motivate the decisions that we make. What was it for you in school that made you make this decision?
I'll be honest with you, nothing. Nothing.
Nothing in school.
Nothing at school.
Yeah.
Nothing. I was just doing it, of course, because as a kid you have to go to school, and I totally do understand the importance of education. Not that I was a bad student. I actually was a great student. I did what I had to do, but I knew that when I grow up, when I'm done with high school or university, this is what I want to do with my life.
And then you moved on to a point where you knew exactly what you wanted to do because you looked a specific way.
Yeah.
How did then your modeling career start? Who picked you out of the crowd and said, that girl? Or did you approach someone and be like, I'm that girl?
I think I must have been maybe 16 or 17 years old, and it was actually still here in Swaziland.
Yeah.
I don't remember the year. I think I saw an article, it was something about some fashion show that was going to be happening at Happy Valley or so. I don't remember. It's a long time ago. I'm too grown at this point to remember the details. But yeah, it was actually managed by Mrs. Gray. There's a lady called Mrs. Gray. And funny enough, when I came back home to visit, I bumped into her.
I think.
Yes, I bumped into her at Happy Valley. And she didn't recognize me. I didn't recognize her. She was sitting with her friend. I walked past. And as I walked past, there's a waiter who came running after me, like, oh, excuse me, the 2 ladies over there would like to speak to you. And I came back, they're like, oh, you're so beautiful, where are you from? And I told them. And then, of course, it wasn't her who was speaking, it was her friend. And then when I turned around, when she introduced me to her, I was like, I actually know you. You are the person who actually helped me with my modeling career. Like, that's the very first fashion show that I ever walked on. It was through her. Yeah.
And then, of course, your life blossomed into so many modeling parts. Can you talk about your highlights in your modeling career?
I think I started enjoying the actual life of a model when I moved to South Africa. Like, that's when, like...
Not that there's anything wrong with Eswatini.
No, because not that there's anything wrong, you're right about
Yeah.
that, but there isn't much happening in the modeling industry. I mean, in the fashion industry, let me just put it that way, because for it to have a modeling, for one to have a modeling career, there has to be a fashion industry that's quite active. So in Swaziland at the moment, we're still quite, finding our way, but hopefully things get better.
And then picking on some of your highlights, work that you've done in your modeling career, maybe before you relocated, and then when you relocated.
I think my strength is mainly on the runway. It is when I started doing fashion weeks, the SA Fashion Weeks, the Mercedes Fashion Weeks, and then just like the booking a number of fashion shows in a day. You'll be doing more than just 2, 3 nyana, you know. Then you do a lot. It amps you up. It really keeps the adrenaline pumping, and because you're walking amongst other really, really great models that you see on the magazines, you see on the television, and while you're still also trying to get in the industry, you watch the shows and you see them. Now you're also within, you're part of them. So I can say South Africa was really great for me when it comes to my modeling career.
And
I enjoyed it a lot.
Can you then pinpoint maybe a specific moment or an experience that you had while you were in South Africa that you remember so vividly that you can say, this was it for me in my modeling career? Maybe someone you met?
Oh, someone I met. I'll start by saying getting booked by your David Tlales, your Tula Cindy's, your Airs. There's a whole lot of them that I don't remember, but David Tlale was like the biggest at the time. I mean, he still is, I can say. Johan Khotsie, like I really had a great time. And then also becoming friends with the models that are just killing it in the game. That for me made me feel like, okay, you got it, girl.
And we talk about your modeling career, but at that point, I'm sure, to work with a Khid, to work with a David Tlale, were you doing it on your own, or did you have an agency at that time, transitioning from Eswatini to South Africa? What made you decide to even make that move? Was there someone pushing you, or were you signed with someone? Who was getting the gigs for you?
Okay, I'll start by just breaking it down on how I even moved to South Africa, honestly. I moved to South Africa through school. I went there to do my metric. From there I came back and I had like a gap year. Went back again, now for college. And right after college, I then signed up with an agency called ICE Model Management in Durban, though. And it was great, but I was one of those problematic models for them because I also had a job. At a 9 to 5, I was working for the Angolan consulate. I was a executive secretary of the general consul himself. So, when you're working in such a diplomatic office, you're constantly at work, you're constantly traveling, and then now that clashes with my modeling career. They booked me for this, and right after I've confirmed everything, my boss wants me to go somewhere. And then I have to cancel, so I was a problem. And then I think I did that job for about 3 years, so I was a problem for them for like 3 years. Then at some point I moved to Joburg. I quit my job.
Oh, okay. So now we talk about your leap of faith, obviously moving to Dubai for other reasons. But then how did you then manage to inject yourself into that modeling industry? When were you like, no, I should continue with what I was doing here because you saw the opportunities, or did you sign up with an agency? Because you did say you did have a 9 to 5, but then how did you then inject yourself into that industry in Dubai?
Okay, I didn't want to say the hate for my job, but I would rather say the lack of enthusiasm at my then job. Also just being there for like a couple of months, I then got to learn that actually the fashion industry does exist. There's a lot of through Instagram, of course, seeing other girls that actually there's models here. There's African girls who are modeling here. So I would ask them, you know, what agencies can I approach, and they'll tell me. So once I signed up with my agency, that's when I just knew that, okay, cool, I have a direction. And what even gave me the courage to just be like, I'm done with this job, is because my agency now started booking me for like big jobs. I was like, my 9 to 5 is paying me less than what I would do in one day.
Yeah.
A month, I'm out. So yeah, that's how I left.
And now you have modeling skills that you of course possess, and you then gained different jobs in the UAE. You did mention earlier on while we were speaking that you're not only a model now, you know, you did say you had a 9 to 5, which is of course in sales and marketing. You do have another job that is far apart from modeling. Can you talk about that, the other things that you do in the UAE?
Okay, so it is also, I can say, my being signed up to that agency, my modeling agency in Dubai, because I actually got this job through them.
Yeah.
They called me up and they were like, hey, we have this production company, they're looking for presenters and we think you'd be great. Go over there for an interview. So that's how I got myself ready, and I went there. There was like maybe 90 something people, and they selected around 15 people. I was one of those 15 people, and out of the 15 people, I guess they just started dropping people off, and I'm the one that they picked for that job. But that show delayed, you know, with production and all of that. They were struggling to find a team, to put together a team for that show. And then they were like, actually, how about you actually produce the show yourself? So that's how I now became a producer for them for the show. Which was really hard for me, because as much as I was a producer, they also wanted me to present it at the same time. So now I was like, ugh. I tried in the beginning, but eventually I was like, I can't do both stuff. It's just too much for me. Then I requested that, can I just get presenters to do it, and I just rather stick behind the camera.
And the interesting fact about that, the producer part most importantly, is that you did mention that it was producer with no skills.
No skills.
How did you manage to then polish yourself up to be at the producer level, work with that producer etiquette, you know, carry the mind of a producer? What have you been doing to grow yourself in that space?
The little experience I have, of course, as a model. You have other friends who are producers, and also during our shows, you can see how people are doing things, and for the most part, I think it's also common sense. You know how you want things to look. Yes, you're gonna ask the team, like, okay, how do we do this? Where do we go for this and that? Yes, I did have help, but for this particular show, I think I had already understood a bit, because they did put me as part of another team whereby I was an assistant producer, following somebody who knew what they were doing for just a couple of weeks, a month or two, I don't remember. It definitely wasn't up to 2 months, it was less than that. But from that, I then now had to understand that, okay, for my show to work, I also have to do A, B, C, D, and E. You know, I don't have to do exactly what they're doing, because producers have different styles, and that's just how I did it. So sitting with Carolyn still, when we return, we talk about some of your challenges, you know, being in the UAE, and of course the challenges that you face when being a model, when we return. Welcome back. Today we are coming to you from the beautiful Domingos Game Reserve. You can hear it's so earthy, it's so beautiful, and here you get to enjoy, you know, a nice weekend out, or it can be a week or a month if you like. Nice rooms, everything is set out for relaxation. But we are still talking to Carolina Domingos as well. You know, we talk about your challenges now. We're moving on to the hard part of being a model. What are some of the challenges that you have
have faced and you were like, no, I think I am done with this career?
I think it's the inconsistency because it's a very seasonal job, first of
Yes.
all. You can't just be located in one place. It's a couple of months, hectic, couple of months, just dryness,
Yeah.
you know. So now it requires you to, first of all, be flexible enough that, okay, when it's season here, I am here. When it's dry, you
I'm
go
there.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
So it's really challenging. And you also need to understand that when you're moving to a whole different country or continent, you still have to go and learn their ways of doing things. You're not just going to come in and fit in. You might be lucky because it happens to some people.
Yeah.
Just go and everything just works out for you. So all those things and maybe the rejection and it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Now you are moving. Completely new move. You're moving to a whole different continent, which is of course Europe. What has influenced the specific decision? Because we'd like to think Dubai is the pinnacle of it, or that's where you get to be, the best you can ever be. But what has influenced your decision moving to Europe, and what are some of your goals while you're there?
Okay. When I first moved to Dubai, I thought I was only going to be there for like 2 years, 3 years max, if, girls doing a bit more.
Yeah.
But I've been there now for like a little bit over 6 years, and it's just like, this wasn't part of the plan, girl. Your plan was to actually go to Europe like 3 years ago, but you didn't. Yes, of course, that was due to the COVID and all of that, so things were delayed. It's not a problem. I'm not complaining. With moving to Europe now, I just want to try something completely different, which life in Europe and life in Dubai is completely different. Dubai is constantly on the fast lane and all of that. Europe isn't like that. It's a little bit more calmer, and I just need that calmness. And I'm at a stage in my life where I want to do things with no rush. I know who I am, I know what I stand for, and I'm trying everything that I've never done before. Yes, of course, there's already an agency that I'm in,
Okay.
I'm organizing things with that I'll be signed up with. And I also want to try beauty pageants.
Okay. So are there any specific ones that you're looking at in Europe? Because maybe we're not familiar with the pageants that are there. Beauty pageants is like competition, basically.
Yeah, it is competition.
It's not runway.
Yeah,
it's a completely different.
And I've always avoided being put in a position where I have to speak and explain myself, or I always avoided situations like that. Like, let me just stand there, take a picture, walk, finish, I go home. But now I want to do something different. There's two that I'd already been invited to, actually, in Monte Carlo in February, and I didn't go because I just felt like the girls were a little bit younger than me. In fact, all of them were just too young.
You were going to eat them up.
It wasn't even that. It was just like, I felt like, I don't know, like I didn't feel comfortable with competing with
young girls.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Like, let me do something that's within my age range.
And earlier you did mention the idea of having a 9-to-5, and you did say that you are basically a 9-to-5 girly. What is some of the importances of having a backup career while you're pursuing a career like modeling, or is it something that you need to have, really?
I think it is something that you need, because not everybody will have a booming career.
Yes.
I'm gonna speak for myself. It's not like I've had like the greatest career of all time. I have friends who are doing way better than me, and with them, some of them, they're able to travel and go to different places, but it's not all the time where you can do all of those things. And sometimes you don't want to. Sometimes, guys, depression and, living out of your home country, sometimes you're not in the right headspace. And sometimes you just feel like, let me just get a job and take a break. Because with a 9-to-5, it's pure security. I am working, I'll get a salary.
Yes.
But with modeling, you're just waiting. You don't know, even if it's a casting, you don't know if you're gonna get booked. Payment also takes up to like 90 days. That's like 3 months. Bills are building up. They're piling up, and you have to get things done. So you end up finding yourself in a very uncomfortable space. So you rather have an actual job that brings you security.
Okay, so you need an actual job. Are you implying
No, it can be anything.
Yeah.
So long as you just need an income.
Okay.
Even if it's your parents giving you money every month, it's money.
Yeah.
You know, but it's good to have something to fall.
Security to fall back on. And with that said, what are you looking to do now that you're making the big move? What are some of your future goals apart from entering into pageants? Of course, Europe has some of the biggest stages you can ever imagine when it comes to runway. Are you still looking to pursue that while you're there?
100%, because I mean that's basically the main reason why I have an agency, because I want to see how far I can go with it. When I visited Austria a couple of months ago, I walked into Roberto Cavalli. I saw like some outfits outside, like I want to try these on. And I went and I tried them on, and they took me some videos. And they were like, send us the videos. They took those videos and they actually posted them on their page. And I was just playing around in their store,
so you got featured on the Roberto Cavalli page.
Like just me being playful.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we did talk about, they always have like these events and they always need models. So it was in connection, so anything can happen. You can meet anybody.
Yeah.
Even one night I was out having dinner with a friend and I was approached by somebody. They told me they have an agency, which is actually the agency that I'll be signed up to.
So now I think the what I'm getting from that is that you must walk into a luxury store and just put the clothes and take pictures.
Not really, it just happened.
I'm kidding.
It just happened.
With that said, what are some of the advices that you would love to give to young people, especially in the Kingdom of Eswatini? You're also doing work in Eswatini now.
Yes, I was about
We just
to
found out,
go into that,
which we'll get into. What are some of the advices that you would like to give to our young people looking to pursue a career in modeling, especially coming from the outskirts of Eswatini, the small towns where you're not really exposed to, city life and what a model should be? Where can they learn and what can they do, be it social media, TV? What can they do to become a model?
That was one of a long question, but it also, I think what I would say to young people trying to venture into the modeling industry, for the most part, I know they say, okay, beauty is beauty, whatever, but also let's be realistic, it comes with a lot of struggles, comes with a lot of challenges, there's a lot of rejection. It's very important to be willing. You need to know what you're walking into. It's not all the time where you'll be booked. There'll be you can even not book a job for like an entire month or even two. Everywhere you go, you get rejected. It's okay. But for the most part, believe in your dreams. One, just keep on pushing. It is gonna happen. Also, don't be falling for people who are just gonna come to you and be like, oh, we're an agency, or I'm gonna get you fashion shows and all of that. It's sad because there isn't a lot of us who can actually educate young people on what to fall for and what not to fall for, But for the most part, when you are doing modeling, it's very important to have an agency, be signed up with an agency. Those are your protectors. Those are the people that will actually introduce you to the right people. Don't have somebody who just be like, I'll be your manager, and
what do you even
exactly
know
about it doesn't make sense. But I think a lot of young people have fallen into those wrong traps. But other than that, the modeling industry isn't as harsh as it is painted to be, especially with danger and all of that. Of course, when you're in the right hands, but it is unfortunate that not everybody knows where to go to. You can go on Google, you can just Google like the top 5 agencies in South Africa, for example, if you're in Swaziland. Swaziland is not so far from South Africa. You can always find a way. Google those ones, and you can either call them, you can either send them an email, or even visit them. Bagbone, when they fall in love with you, they fall in love with you. And when you have a mother agency, you are so protected because everything you do it ngendlela that it is supposed to be,
Actually,
you know what I mean, like
yeah.
100%. You don't have to worry about anything. From your paperwork, from your payments, everything you're good. To accommodation even. You're new, you don't have money. They're going to give you money. I mean, of course, with like a request. Special request, let me not lie.
Yeah,
you know,
don't just get money.
Exactly, you don't just get money. Like,
Yeah.
you know, Magbona goes, okay, this person, she's worth it. She's going to book. They can pay a couple of things for you, but just keep in mind that when you work, you have to pay them their money.
Yeah.
They will take it. In fact, they'll
Their
let you know
percentage, yeah.
exactly. I mean, not even the percentage. For example.
Okay.
Because you have to pay, Bella. It's not for free.
Yes,
you
yes,
know,
yes.
like they helped you out. Basically,
So pay back.
basically they gave you an advance. You know, so you have to pay that money, and then the more you work, the more you actually get to make money.
Okay.
But it's also very important to understand that the industry is very seasonal. You won't be booking every time. 6 months in, 6 months out.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just dry.
Yeah. And just as we close off, Nyalo lenza masise ithatha sivisa lana to the kingdom of Eswatini. You are back here in the motherland, and if you can just tell us what are some of the works that you are back here to do in the kingdom of Eswatini. I know that there's a secret somewhere there, but with your permission, can you please tell us?
Okay, so in January, December, I'm not so sure, I was actually approached by a South African producer who's actually a good friend of mine, and he was just telling me that there's a reality show that they want to shoot in Swaziland, and he wants me to be a part of. Okay, cool, yeah, we agreed, excited. But when it then started, I was delays, you know, like with the agreement and just starting off the shooting and stuff. But at the time, Nami had other commitments, and then I just happened to come home. And I saw that he was around, and it was just like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm around. Let's hang out. And it was like, well, forget about hanging out. I want you to come and do the show. So that's how I got onto the show, which is called Journey to Buganu. It's about six Swazi women who are sharing their life journeys and just purpose and, you know, dreams and everything. And also the dynamics within us. It's quite interesting. And I also got my first ever modeling gig in Swaziland. I'm going to be doing a shoot for the Swazi Secrets, the Maganu products. Yes, so I'll be doing that in Johannesburg in a couple of days.
All right, and we look forward to seeing you. I mean, in the world, internationally, maybe for Paris Fashion Week, we'll be seeing you there
That would be
quite
so nice,
soon.
yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Young Climber. We hope to see the best of you in the
It's a
future.
pleasure.
All right. Thank you so much to Carolina Domingos, who joined us today, you know, to talk about her life as a model in the Kingdom of Eswatini and, of course, in Dubai. And now she is moving to Europe to continue to do great things there. Please remember, today we were coming to you from Dombeya. This beautiful, beautiful space allowed us, you know, to bring the best of ourselves. But till next time, from me, Tabelo Dlamini, it is good night.